welcome to Moving Well. Today we're going to be doing an interesting foot lesson. So you'll need to remove your stockings, but first of all, lay down on your back. We'll do that initial scan. Yes, lay down on your back.
You want the socks off right now?
You can lay down and do the scan first, and then so the initial scan, remember, is for you to get present to where you are right now. How are you organized? Give yourself just a few moments to settle in. Bring your attention into yourself. Notice your breathing right now. Where do you feel the breath go? Just take note of how you feel you're breathing right now to compare it to how you are at the end of the lesson. Notice the way your right leg is laying, your right foot, your right heel, how it's resting, and scan on up through your ankle, your lower leg, your knee, and your thigh, right to your hip joint. And then do the same thing on your other leg. From the heel, through the lower leg, your knee, your thigh, your hip joint. And contrast the way one leg is laying compared to the other. Do they seem pretty similar, or do you notice a difference? And very gently, first roll your right leg just a little bit, right and left, to feel what's available for real easy movement right now. And then let that rest, and do the same thing with your left leg. And be aware of any differences, as well as the similarities between the feel of the way each leg rolls at this point. And then get a sense of where your sacrum is, your tailbone, and slowly scan from your tailbone through your sacrum, and then vertebra by vertebra, go up your spine, through your low back area, your mid back area, up between your shoulder blades, to C7 at the base of your neck, and then all the way to the base of your skull, through your neck. Feel the way your two shoulder blades are resting on the floor, or are they not touching? Does one shoulder blade touch the floor differently than the other one? Pay attention to the way your right shoulder blade is resting, and then scan down your right arm. How does your right arm rest with your shoulder blade in this position? Through your upper arm to your elbow, your lower arm, your wrist, and your hand. And then again, pay attention to your left shoulder blade, and then scan down your left arm in the same way, the upper arm, the lower arm, your wrist, and your hand. Feel the weight of your head. Note the leaning point of your head. And notice, is your head resting in a level position, and that means that your head, your chin and your forehead are basically on the same plane, the same level. And be sure your head is supported in a way that your head is in that position. And it'll be interesting to see how much support it requires under your head to have your head in that position now at the beginning of the lesson to how it is at the end of the lesson. So that's one of the things you can look to pay attention to. Now today we are going to do a lesson that's totally different than anything else you have ever done in this class. You may have done it if you've done any other Feldenkrais classes, but this is one. It's one of Moshe's original, from his original collection, that was translated and transcribed from his initial recordings. So right now, please roll to your side and come to sit. And hopefully we'll be able to find, we will find ways to make you as comfortable as possible for this lesson. This is a foot lesson. So you'll want to, we're going to start with your right foot, so you'll want to take your sock off your right foot. Yeah. It will. So if you can, now, in sitting on the floor, if you're uncomfortable as we continue with the lesson, you can always put a little support under your tush to raise your tush up a little bit. And if you're uncomfortable sitting on the floor, do put something under your bottom to start with. And as the lesson goes on, you may find that you don't need anything. And you may not need anything right now. So you're all looking pretty good. All right, so you're going to catch hold of your right, your left hand is going to hold your right big toe. I better put my glasses on. Some mornings I see, oh, this makes a big difference. Okay, so you want your right foot somewhere on your left leg, or any way it's comfortable. If you're struggling, don't be struggling. If you're definitely look like you're struggling.
It just hurts.
Okay.
This helps though.
Okay. All right. You all know not to suffer, right? Suffer is counterproductive to progress. All right. Okay. Okay. Well, shift position, and it doesn't have to be on your leg. If it's more comfortable to lean forward with your foot on the floor, do that. Okay. So your left hand holds your right big toe. So you're going to take hold of it in a way that you can twist it and turn it, and just gently rotate it. And as you're doing this, you're gently rotating the toe and gently elongating it. You're not yanking on it. You're just going to start out thinking of it elongating as you rotate it. Everybody's rotating, not making cones. Okay. And stop and rest whenever you need to. And when you've made 15 or so little turns, you can stop and rest. Just pause for a moment and then move on to your second toe. Are you going to need need something more solid under your bottom? Maybe that moving, okay, that moving mitt might be more stable. The other thing that happened is I grabbed the wrong manual. So I'm going to take one of Moshe's manuals, and I had 3 or 4 of them out there, and I was sure. But I meant to teach a foot lesson, but not this particular one. But this must be the right one, because this is the one that we're having right now. And the work's all about being flexible, right?
Still on the second toe?
You move to the second toe, and when you've done that 15 or 20 times, and you're gently rotating and gently elongating, then you move to the next toe. You're going to do all 5 of your toes on this foot. And be aware as you're doing it, pay attention. There may come a point where your foot actually begins to turn a little more as you continue rotating the toes. And see if your foot begins to turn more comfortably.
My left knee does not like that.
Okay, then do something that's more comfortable for your left knee. So the idea is that your right foot would be turning, gradually turning, so it's turning more towards your face. So you might want to keep your knee out to the side. There you go. Your ankle is already pretty darn flexible. So, but the impact of foot lessons is awesome. A tingle like a nerve tingle or a tickle tingle? Ah.
I discovered one thing, that I need to clip the nails on my right foot.
No pedicures here this morning. And when you have done all of your toes sufficiently, go ahead and lay on your back and rest. And notice from the moment you lay down, is anything different in your right leg as compared to your left leg? And then return to sitting and sit in the position that's most comfortable for you to do the same thing with your left leg. Yeah. So you start with your big toe and gently rotate and elongate it 10 or 15 times, and do it slowly, just a slow, gentle turning. Gently, and use your imagination. Imagine it elongating. In the beginning, these moves might hurt a little bit, but as long as it's not an intense pain, if it's more in the discomfort range, we're okay. Because our feet do so much force and they get so little attention. So the foot lessons are really powerful. Come to class and play with your feet. See, this will be something productive you'll be able to do when you're sitting and watching TV. Just sit and play with your feet.
I'll do this the next time I'm on a plane.
Well, you might be a little cramped, and your neighbors might object. Yeah. And you're twisting the toes. You're not turning them in a cone. You're twisting them like a corkscrew. And gently elongating. Just rotating and gently elongating. You're not yanking or pulling hard, but you're gently elongating, and imagine them getting longer. Any chance you have to engage your imagination with this is so powerful. And when you have completed that, you can go ahead and lay on your back and rest again. Oh dear. Again, notice any little differences. Remember, it's noticing any differences, noticing any changes that gives your brain feedback to do some higher level reorganizing for us. And then roll to your side and come back again. Return to sitting. Organize yourself in the most comfortable way to take hold of your right leg as before. And this time, turn the sole of your foot toward yourself as much as it goes easily. And if you can place your right foot on your left leg comfortably, do that. But remember, comfort is the top priority. And now take hold of your big toe with your left hand and begin bending it toward the sole of your foot. So take hold of the toe so you can kind of help the bending, and there's more than one joint there, so. And do repetitive, gentle bends rather than trying to force it to bend further. Just gently play with it, bending it back and forth. If you do it gently, 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 that big toe joint will begin to bend. And it doesn't usually bend initially, but if we continue just gently playing with this, thinking of not just that first joint bending, but the joint that connects your toe to your foot. And it only happens, the good stuff only happens if you don't use force. If you're forcing, that negates the whole thing. So be content just to play with your toe.
Haven't done that since I was 6 months old.
Well, it's about time then.
You can remember back that far.
Mm-hmm. Oh. No, we're just staying with this one right now. the big toe is the initial starter here. And then leave it alone. Lay on your back and rest again. And then come back, roll to your side and come back to sitting. And now take your left big toe and begin to do the same thing. Rotate and bend. So you're pulling and bending. And you're rotating and elongating. Now you're bending and elongating. So you're thinking of that joint that connects your toe to your foot. Bending. You can imagine how that goes also. Bring in all the forces. Gentle movement, gentle pulling, and vivid imagining. It's possible that the end of your big toe, not the very tip, but the flat of your big toe, could actually come to touch the sole of your foot if we loosen up that joint enough. Now, don't force to try to make that happen, but that's our toes become sort of immobilized with wearing shoes. Cultures that go barefoot keep the mobility and flexibility in their toes.
I've watched some people climb a coconut palm
Using their toes.
Matter of fact.
Weather was a little different, huh?
Well, the guy that we had in Ireland for the whole tour wore sandals. And we got down to below 50 a couple of times.
Okay. Now move. Now we're going to
I'm trying to figure out where all the origins and insertions of the tendons and muscles are.
do you have a good chart?
Just around your big toes.
Mm. Oh, so you mean you're imagining that, or you're
I'm trying to both. When the surgeon repaired my right ankle,
mm-hmm.
we looked long and hard at a X-ray and
Mm-hmm.
some anatomical diagrams there, and so I'm looking now at, okay, what am I moving here?
Anything that enhances your image. And then leave that alone, lay on your back and rest. And then roll to your side and come back to sit. And again, take your right foot. And now this time, go to your second toe and begin the rotating and gently pulling, elongating it, and then move into bending it down towards the pad of your foot. And I think you'll find that this one's considerably more available. At least usually this toe is usually much more available than the big toe is usually the biggest challenge, but it's also kind of like the gatekeeper. Once you get that one moving, the rest of them free up more also. So you're gently turning and elongating several times, and then you start bending it towards the sole of your foot.
Are we going to go out and buy bigger shoes now?
Probably. You'll have to go barefoot to the shoe store, probably. Yeah. So you're gently turning, gently elongating. And what's the mental picture you have? Can you imagine your toe is elongating, softening, bending?
Actually, mine is straight now. They're all bunched up like this and stuff.
This is something you can do any time. They do relax and they do straighten out. So when you've got that one moving pretty well, move to your third toe. You go to your second toe, then your third toe, and work your way all the way to your pinky. So you bend and you pull. So you twist each one 15, 20 times, and then you begin to bend it towards the sole of your foot. Excuse me. And then you move to the next toe. So you do all 5 of your toes. And when you've done all 5 of them, you can lay down and rest. And notice, do you feel anything different from having done it?
Feels longer.
And do you notice any difference between, other than the sensation in your foot being different? Do you feel the impact in any other parts of yourself? Pardon? What do you feel? Ah, okay. So take time to notice your breathing, your contact, the difference between your right foot and your left foot. And then come back, roll to your side and come back up to sit. And do the same thing with your left foot. Move from your turning, rotating, and elongating your big toe and then bending it towards the sole of your foot. As you elongate it, bend it towards the sole of your foot. Do the big toe is like the gatekeeper, so we work on the big toe first and get that one mobilized, and then we move on to the rest of the toes, doing the same thing, gently rotating and elongating, and then lengthening and bending the toe towards the sole of the foot. Rotate, and then you gently pull, elongate, and bend towards the sole of the foot. Gently elongating. And when you've completed that, go ahead and lay on your back and rest for a moment. Notice if you're feeling a different sensation in your right leg than your left leg. You've worked on both your feet now. But notice, is the impact on the right foot different than the impact of the work on the left foot? Just notice. Notice not only at the feet, but the way your right leg and your left leg are lying on the floor, the way they're organized. And one more time, roll to your side and come to sit. And now interlace the fingers of your left hand with your right toes, as though you're folding your hands to say your prayers. You're going to put your fingers between your toes.
We don't have to cross our left leg, though, do we?
No, you don't have to cross your left leg. No, you're just whatever position you can be comfortable into. And then once you have them there, just gently bend the toes back a little and forward a little. Cramp? Did you hurt your...
internal pain of some kind. Like I was putting pressure on the wrong point.
From the bottom. It's probably easier from the bottom then. But if you're up for a challenge, I haven't tried it the other way. I'll have to try it the other way. See what happens. Yeah.
The rest of my body is protesting.
So, well, do a little bit and then quit. In fact, everybody now switch feet. You know, interlace your right fingers with your left toes now.
It's lateral motion. I think you need to warn us the next time so that we all wash our feet with soap.
I assumed you'd all shower. I just.
Just be glad you're upwind. So.
Yes, it would be.
I haven't seen anybody pass out yet, so that must be good.
And once you've done that, then go ahead and lay on your back and rest.
Now I feel like my feet are wider.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I can swim better now. Right?
Hey, like fins.
You're going to have clown feet yet.
And now roll to your side and come to sit again. Now bend your knees. Put your left foot standing. Oh no, it said remain on your back. I'm sorry. Lay on your back, right? I missed that part. Remain on your back. There was a little note down there. What? Okay, you're going to bend your knees, stand your left foot standing, lift your right leg in the air, and place it on your left knee where it's comfortable. No, the ankle, just the ankle of your right foot is resting on your knee. This is a little tricky. Okay. Lengthen your legs and rest for a moment. This isn't making any sense. I think I did this. Okay. Now I know where it is. Okay, roll to your side and come to sit. Okay, now start with your right foot, and with your left hand take hold of your big toe, and with your right hand take hold of the rest of your toes. And you're going to gently separate them, the other toes from your big toe. Do this gently. You're just going to be doing a gentle elongating. Oh, right. So you're separating them from each other a few times. And then take your second toe in your left hand and then separate those toes. And you get the picture. You do several moves separating each toe and then move to the next toes. And do this about 15 times, he says. So your knee remains standing. Can you put your knee standing and have it between your arms? Or is that not a comfortable position? If it's not a comfortable position, then don't do that. Then don't do that. Yeah. The separating is the what we're after.
How hard should we pull?
Just not less than pain. You don't want any pain at all, any discomfort. You just,
We can pull really hard if it doesn't hurt?
yeah,
Don't pull them off.
yeah.
This Halloween, we don't want to see any gore.
No blood, please.
Just, if there's no pain, no resistance, then go ahead and move it. These toes get so cramped up in our shoes.
You lose some nerve. Sensitivity, since your feet are mainly in pain all the time.
Could be. And then just take a lay down break. Once you've done all 5 toes, take a lay down break. Take a moment to feel any differences. And then roll to your side and come to sit again. And now do the same thing with your left foot. Take hold of your big toe with your right hand and the rest of your toes with your left hand, and begin to very gently separate them. We're not yanking, we're not forcing, we're just gently repeating, like up to 15 times or so. Just the gentle loosening up.
Should we be trying to isolate this, legs and everything else? I tend to tense up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tensing up is counterproductive. That's why we stress finding a comfortable position. If you're stressing and straining, your brain is busy attending to that and not available to your feet or the object of our intention.
My knee is taking precedence today.
Are you, is this aggravating your knee?
A little bit.
Okay, Then,
I can do it for a couple, maybe 20 or 30 seconds, and it starts.
okay, well, lengthen your leg before it starts to hurt. Stop short of discomfort. And when you've completed that, go ahead and lay on your back and rest. This isn't going to be a very good lesson for TV, I don't think.
Some of the commentary might be worthwhile.
So this may not be a winner. There's not too much for them to see. No, there's the thought. And now come roll to your side and come back. And in whatever position, whatever position you can be comfortable in doing this, choose that. And now we'll start with the right foot. Take hold of your big toe with your left hand and the rest of your toes with your right hand. And begin to just gently separate and curl down towards the sole of your foot. So take hold of all of your little toes and separate them from the big toe a little bit and curl them down. And just do this gently a few times each. So can you take hold of, like curl your fingers over your toes so you're taking a hold of them? Like that, yeah. And then add the next toe to your big toe so you're separating between little toes. You're separating and bending them towards the sole of the foot. Separate a little and curl them down. And continue all the way until you've got 4 toes along with your big toe, and separating just your pinky toe from them. And when you've completed your right foot, lay down on your back for a moment to feel any differences and rest. You probably need the rests in this lesson more than any other lesson we've had. And if you're having any discomfort being in the upright position, just do a couple moves and then lay down and rest. This is your opportunity to really honor yourself. And then roll to your side and come back to sit. And seriously, if there's discomfort, you accomplish more if you just do a little move, bending towards the sole of your foot and then letting it be. Really honor your body's message. there's discomfort. How you're doing your left foot. And engage your imagination as you're doing it. It just intensifies the impact. If you're imagining the turning, gentle, just gentle. Notice, does it feel like you're bending through all of the joints when you bend it down that way? All the way from the root of your toe, the root part that attaches into your foot.
The one thing I remember from the X-ray and other pictures of my foot is how many bones you have in your foot.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. So now you can mostly coordinate those. Of course, most of my feet are on the left side of my body.
Oh, well.
No.
And once
Oh,
you've completed all of those, some things we have to just kind of let slide. It's like, and then lay on your back and rest. Pardon? Really? Huh. Okay, now bend both knees, stand your feet, and just take a moment to notice, is there any different sensation in this position after doing all of this work with your feet? And now Now place your right foot on your left thigh in any position that's comfortable. You're placing your right foot on your left thigh. No, you're staying on your side, or on your back, I mean. So you're resting you can put your ankle there. Rest your ankle, like as though you were just being casual. And see if you can slide your left hand under your foot. Can you reach your left foot and interlace your fingers of your left hand? The fingers of your left hand with your toes on your right foot, if you can. If not, then just take hold of the toes and, did you get a cramp? And from that position, just bend your toes back and forth. And notice, which toes bend more? And then leave it alone, lengthen your legs and rest. And then bend your knees again. This time cross your left leg over your right and interlace your fingers and your toes? Okay, then don't. Imagine, you can bend your knees and imagine and then leave it alone. Lengthen your legs and rest. And now notice any different sensation that you feel in your feet. And then slowly scan from your toes through your excuse me, through your feet, the soles of your feet, the top of your feet, through your ankles. And as you're scanning, slowly scanning through yourself from your feet up your ankles, legs, knees, thighs, hip joints, just be aware of noticing anything, any sensation that's different, any change in contact, any increase in awareness of parts of yourself. From your hip joints, feel your sacrum, your tailbone, feel how your pelvis is resting, and scan from your sacrum through your low back, your mid back, up between your shoulder blades, to your neck, top of your neck, and then to the base of your skull. Feel the way your two shoulder blades are resting, the way your arms are organized. Feel the leaning point of your head right now. Notice, is it the same or is it different than when you first laid down? And again, very gently roll your right leg a little left and a little right. Is there any different sensation? Thanks for joining us again today. You're always welcome to join the class in person if you'd like. We're at the Addison Township Center. The classes are 9:30 to 10:30 on Tuesday mornings. So that's it for today, so keep on moving well.